Hi, I'm Loli, and I'm so glad you are here.
Dollar Tree has a nice selection of tissue paper. We will be using one of them for this project. Let's start by painting this beautiful piece that I got from Dollar Tree with this parchment multi-surface color from Folk Art. Then I'm going to take this wood round from Dollar Tree and paint it with 2 coats of my Rust-Oleum linen white. Now we are going to take some of these tissue papers from Dollar Tree. We're going to use this pink one with the flowers. But first I'm going to add some Mod Podge to my wood round. I am going to apply the Mod Podge in an even and very thin coat to avoid any bubbling or any wrinkles. Now it's time to add the tissue paper. I'm going to start by putting it at the bottom of our wood round, and I'm going to smooth it down slowly and carefully, making sure to not leave any bubbles or any wrinkles behind. I'm going to cut off the excess tissue paper and come back with some parchment paper and my flat iron to bring down any pieces that are not completely adhered. This what it does, it activates the Mod Podge and adheres my paper down. Then I'm using my zip sander to sand off all the excess tissue paper from the edges. The secret here is to go in downward strokes so you don't tear your paper where you're not intending to. Now that my edges are all cleaned up, now it's time to adhere the other piece to it. But first, I wanted to make sure that I found my holes where I know exactly where my hangers will be. I ended up not using it, but I thought I was. So then I came in with this moss color from Waverly, and I'm going to paint the outer ring of this sign. Once that dried, we are going to go ahead and try to put it on, but I wasn't happy with it yet. So I decided to do a different color for the word sweet. So I used this pure gold from the Folk Art line of multi-surface paints, and this paint collection is called Skin Tone. And I'm going to go ahead and mix it with some of the parchment color and then add it to the word sweet. I did 2 coats using this color. My friend, I want to take a quick moment to say thank you so much for clicking on my video. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy it. Give the video a big thumbs up so YouTube knows you enjoyed it, and leave me a comment so I know as well. Thank you so much. Now here I'm coming with a felt tip pen from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to do some stitching along both of the words home, on both the inner and the outer borders. Look how cute that's looking. Now it's time to attach that sign onto the wood round. Here I'm using some wood hot glue. And now it's time for a hanger. So I'm going to take some of this beaded garland from Dollar Tree, and I cut 2 pieces that were around the same length, and I'm going to twist them around each other as you see right there. I try to put the green ones in between the whites and the whites in between the green at different levels, so it would look fuller. Then at the ends, I just raveled it into like a little ball. Here you'll see exactly what I mean. I just twisted it to create a small little bow. So it will be kind of like a tiny knot, pretty much. And I'm going to cut off the excess. This is just to give it a little bit more surface area for it to stick. Then I took some more of that wood hot glue, and I'm adding it, as you see right there, where the 2 pieces are uniting. I did the same thing with the other side, and I'm going to place a piece of masking tape over the hot glue while it's still hot. Now it's time to embellish the front. So I'm going to use this floral pick from Dollar Tree. I'm going to dissect it into different parts, so I just cut off the individual pieces and place them in different positions at the top, trying to put them on that negative space there towards the side of the word home. I separated the pieces individually so I had more freedom in arranging them in the way that I wanted to. So I wanted to start with my greenery. So I'm going to hot glue that piece of vine right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue that leaf right on top as well. Then I'm going to add the flower over that. I'm making sure to cut off that other piece that will go into the pick so my flowers will be fitting nice and flush. Then I wanted to add this pink flower as well. And to do so, I'm going to go ahead and add some hot glue to that plastic section in between where that plastic is and the flower is to avoid any unraveling of the flower as I cut that other piece that will go into the pick. And then I added some hot glue to the back and glued it down next to my white flower. Then we are going to use this yellow one right here. I also liked here how it looked. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue that behind my pink flower. Then I took another piece of greenery and I'm going to glue it on the other side. To add an additional pop of color, I'm going to take that butterfly and glue it right there on the bottom. And look how beautiful this turned out. I love it. Let me know what you think. My friends, today's video is part of a collaboration. It is the 5 Under 5 challenge, and this month it is all about DECOUPAGE decor. This collaboration is hosted monthly by Emily from Farm Charm Chic. Her guest host this month is BuffieDesigns. The links to their channels and to their playlist will be linked in the description box below and also pinned in the comments. Make sure to head on over to her channel and to the playlist and show everyone some love. For the next inspiration this evening, we will be using some napkins. Dollar Tree carries a nice selection, but you can find these anywhere really. Mine that I'm using today came from ShopRite. I am starting my project with 4 of these coasters that I got from Temu. It's a pack of 24 for $20, and I painted in white with my Rust-Oleum linen chalk paint. And now I'm going to add some Mod Podge to the fronts. Then I'm going to take my napkins and I'm going to go ahead and open them up and remove the second ply off of it. Then I chose the section that I wanted to add to my coaster. So I'm going to place the coaster right below it, center it exactly the way that I want, and cut off the excess. But my Mod Podge dried in the process, so I'm adding a small amount, nice and thin, onto it again, and I'm going to place my napkin on here. Another option would have been to just leave it the way it is and add some parchment paper and my heat press to adhere it, but I wanted to do it this way. And I'm going to use some saran wrap that I have balled up there just to make sure that I have no bubbles and no wrinkles. And I cut off the piece of napkin that's on there. And any edges that were not completely put down, I'm adding a little bit of Mod Podge as well and pressing them down. I did that with all 4 pieces. Now I'm going to remove the excess napkin by using my zip sander in a downward motion to remove all the excess and leave a nice clean edge. You can see right there how beautiful. And I'm going to repeat the same process with the other 3 as well. Just to make sure that everything is nicely done, I'm going to come back in with some parchment paper and my heat press to ensure that every little square inch of paper is adhered to the coasters. Now it's time to seal my project. I'm going to do that using some Mod Podge, dishwasher safe, and I'm going to do a coat on top of the tissue paper, or the napkin in this case, on the edges, the back, all the way around. Once it dried, I'm going to stamp it with my stamp. So whoever purchased this and wants more knows exactly where to go to find some more. So I have a stamp right there with my company's name and my website, so they are easily identified as my creations. And then I'm going to seal that in as well to avoid any kind of rubbing off. I'm going to add another coat of that Mod Podge over it and just doing 1 streak to avoid any kind of rubbing off of the ink. And I'm going to seal the entire bottom as well. Once they're nice and dry, I'm going to just stack them right on top of each other as you see right there. And I'm going to place them on a piece of jute cord so I'm able to create a nice little stack of them. that is perfect to be given as a gift. And I'm just going to go ahead and do a bow at the top using the same jute cord. You can also embellish it a little more if you wanted to by using a little tag and maybe putting a stamp on the tag with your business name as well. Or you can just do a cute note or embellish it with a little heart. My friend, if you enjoyed this video so far and you think there's someone that you know will enjoy it as well, make sure that you share because sharing is caring and it will truly help my channel grow. Thank you so much. And here are my coasters all done. Let me know what you think. I want to take a quick moment to say thank you to my subscribers for subscribing, commenting, liking, sharing. All these things help me tremendously. They help my channel grow, and I appreciate you very much for them. And if you have not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and subscribe and join the Lolly D's Creations family. It is free and it means the world to me. For the next inspiration, we will be using some canvas material. Dollar Tree carries an array of them as well, and I'm going to use one that is long waist, and I'm going to use it for this beautiful charger plate. The charger plate, I went over and I painted it with some white acrylic paint, and I left it a bit distressed. Then I'm taking the canvas and removing all the staples off of the back using my staple remover. This tool is a lifesaver. If you're interested in getting it, I will have it linked in my Amazon store. Alright, now that we removed the canvas, I'm going to measure to see exactly how much I need to put this inside of this charger plate. So once I roughly know the amount, I'm going to go ahead and cut off the sections off of this. I didn't want to cut it at first off the canvas because I was not sure exactly how much I will need. So I wanted to play safe here. So I was able to put the entire material in that opening of the charger. One side final measure there, and it looks good, but I needed a little bit off there still, so I'm just trimming off the little excess. I always rather have more to trim off than trim off too much and not have any space. So now here I'm going to add a healthy amount of Mod Podge in the inside of the charger. I added about 2 times the amount that you saw me add there. And now I'm going to lay my piece of canvas material right in there. And I'm going to add Mod Podge to the top as well. I'm making sure that all the edges are sealed in and I have no bubbles. And I'm adding a healthy amount on those corners one more time to make sure that those are sealed in and this piece becomes part of the charger. Any sections that did not go down, I pulled up a little bit with my pick, added some more Mod Podge onto them and sealed it back down. And I added some Mod Podge to the entire charger as well, so it all has the same finish. Here, once I got to the back, I'm going to go ahead and put my stamp. So the person purchasing this knows where they purchase it, if they know where to find me if they need more. And then I'm going to seal the back as well using Mod Podge. But once again, being very careful to only do one pass over the stamp so it doesn't run. And then seal the rest of my project. And that is it for this one. Let me know what you think. For the next project, we will be using fabric to decoupage. Dollar Tree carries a lot of fabric as well, so you have a nice array to choose from. I chose this buffalo check one. I'm going to be using this octagon, and the first thing that I did is paint it white. But first, I wanted to break it apart, so I'm able to print it properly and to cover very nicely the pattern that's on the background. I had a lot of paper come off as I tore it off, but I'm going to just remove that, and I'm going to use my zip sander to remove all the excess paper off of the background and off of the frame. Once it was sanded and dusted, I gave each piece 2 coats with my linen white Rust-Oleum chalk paint. Then I added some Mod Podge to the background, and I made sure there was a nice and thick layer of Mod Podge. Now it's time to add the fabric, so I'm going to stretch it out as you see right there and just position it over the Mod Podge while it's still wet and press it down until it soaks in some of that paint. Then I cut off the excess fabric. Then I added Mod Podge on top of the fabric as well to protect it. And while it dries, I'm going to work on the frame. I painted the frame with 3 coats of this brown bark from folk art. And while that dried, I'm going to cut off the excess fabric off of the hexagon. Some edges were still showing, so I used the sanding block or my zip sanders, as you see right there, to remove those pieces. Now that it's all dry, I'm going to take some hot glue and thread it around the perimeter of the background. And I'm going to reposition the frame. Now it's time to embellish it more. I'm going to use one of these metal flowers from Dollar Tree. I'm going to remove that hanger that it comes with using my needle nose pliers. And I'm going to take one of these little blocks that I got from a puzzle game at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to add a bit of E6000 to the middle. And I'm going to take that flower and then bend the petals up a little bit to give it a little bit more dimension. And then I'm going to take some hot glue and add it to the piece of the bead as well on the sides and attach it to the back of my flower. Then I took some E6000, added to the other side of the bead, added some hot glue as well, and we are going to position this flower right there at the center of that hexagon. I wanted it to be raised above, and look how cute that turned out. For the next inspiration, we will be using wrapping paper to decoupage. Dollar Tree has a beautiful selection as well, but you can find it anywhere. I'm going to be using this base that I got at my local thrift shop for $2. And I'm going to go ahead and clean it with some tough cleaner from Dollar Tree and dry it very well as well. I wanted to give it a little bit of texture, so I'm going to use this parchment color from folk art as well. It's a multi-surface paint, and I'm going to give it 1 coat using this and using a dauber. This is how it was looking so far. Once it dried, I'm going to take some Mod Podge and add it to the surface. I'm going to start with small sections, long ways, and I'm going to cut a piece of wrapping paper that is big enough to cover the surface at the base and go a little bit further in the bottom and a little bit further into the base as well. And I just added Mod Podge in small sections and adding down the paper until I covered the entire vase. Once I got to the end, I added Mod Podge over the wrapping paper that was already there as well and flattened it down. And once it adhered, I'm going to cut the excess, leaving a small overlap between the 2 pieces of paper. Then I added Mod Podge to the seam, making sure that it's completely down onto the other one to have a nice and seamless transition. And then I cut off the excess paper from the top, but I left about 2 inches at the top, so I'm able to tuck it inside of the vase. Then I made slits on that section that I left behind, and I'm going to add Mod Podge on the rim and in the inside of the vase about 2 inches down as well. And I'm going to bring down those pieces of wrapping paper down to adhere to the wall of the inside of the vase. And I continued doing this until it was all tucked in. And then I came back for more Mod Podge and I'm adding it to all the rim and the inside portion, and the bottom is also time to seal it down as well. I did the same thing. I did some slits on that overhang. I added some Mod Podge on all the perimeter of the vase bottom, and I'm folding the pieces down to adhere them in place. And then I added Mod Podge along the entire vase to seal everything in. Once it was nice and dry, I'm going to take some of this cork from Dollar Tree. I'm going to go ahead and place my vase over it, and with a marker, carve out exactly how much I'm going to need to put at the bottom of this. So I'm just going to use a marker to mark that onto the paper, and then I'm going to cut off that section. Then I removed that paper from the back end. I removed this felt pieces that the bottom of the vase had to begin with. I also removed that tag on the bottom as well. And then we are going to add a Vita hot glue on all the edges of the vase bottom. And we're going to add the piece of cork sheeting right over it. And I added hot glue in those areas in which it was still not adhered correctly. I'm just adding hot glue in the gap and pressing the piece of cork onto it to seal in the bottom. Now comes the front part, embellishment. I'm going to go ahead and take some of these burlap flowers from Dollar Tree and this jute cord, or actually no, they're called this cotton cord from Dollar Tree as well. I'm going to wrap it around the vase 3 times, and then I'm going to glue the nut right at the center. Then I'm going to go ahead and cut off the excess cord, and I'm going to take one of the flowers and glue it right there where the jute cord meets. Then I made a knot further up onto the cord. I did a double knot with it, and then I'm going to leave a section to be nice and long, and I'm going to fray the edges. And I did that with both sides, and I cut the excess frayed edges off of one of the sides. And that is it for this one. Let me know what you think. And here we go with the final reveal. My friends, as always, thank you so much for watching. Be blessed, be a blessing, and craft responsibly. And if you would like to follow me on social media, here are my social media links. And don't forget to visit my friends in the playlist. If you would like to watch some more of my videos, here's a suggestion, and you are more than welcome to binge away with this playlist as well. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. You're amazing. Bye.